Hello Captains, it's me, TONIK TZW, back with a second in a series of videos, the first being holding a flank, and this one which is a good demonstration of pushing a flank, but pushing a flank in a sensible way and when it is safe to do so. So sit back and let's take a look at the team sheet. This map is going to be two brothers and it's destroyer heavy with 4 destroyers on each team, a single cruiser and then the rest battleships. So I'm guessing it's a DD's game and with a few shimikazes out there. Yeah, I'm in my Darren. I did say both videos were going to be in the Darren, and we're going to find ourselves a shimikaze or two, and then perhaps another destroyer as well, and yeah, we'll just see how the whole thing goes, eh? Now, I'll always say at the start of a domination game that caps are king. If you can get in and take a cap, then you can straight away give your team a points advantage. And if you can take and hold those caps, it means that you don't have to spend the full 15 minutes trading blows from behind islands, you know, trying to whittle down the red team to give yourselves a win by killing everything. For every few seconds that you hold a cap, you're getting an additional 3 points. So just for a single cap in what, 15, let's say 45 seconds, you're going to have enough to counter the death of one of your ships. So if you can get onto both caps and get them held, you're going to be counting those points up so quickly. You're going to have such an easy game of it. So pay attention to your destroyers pushing caps, cover the little guys because they don't have many hit points, and shoot at the red team destroyers when they appear. And for those of you that are in battleships going, but battleships don't shoot at destroyers, I am literally going to put together a little compilation for you from the last month of examples of how me in a battleship shoots and kills destroyers, because I don't play battleships, and if I can kill destroyers with a battleship, then all you guys that consider yourselves BB mains can kill destroyers with battleships. But there we go. It looks like the small land has popped his radar. I thought that shimikaze had me spotted as I come around the corner, but we're going to do one thing and one thing only with the shimikaze, because we've seen some torpedoes coming out. The sonar is running, and even if this guy is trying to get off more torpedoes, we're just going to pop smoke because there is another destroyer out here. And are we going to take a torpedo? Hell no. But there's the gearing as well. So we're going to straight away get some fire onto him as well. Just a few salvos before he disappears. We're going to put a spread of torpedoes across there. We can see that he's still contesting the cap, and we're looking for where the small land is to support him. Now what I'm going to try and do here is get a flanking move onto this gearing. We can see he is spamming some HE at the battleship behind me, and I don't actually know what this battleship did behind me for the majority of the game, because he didn't seem to do much apart from follow me around. Now the Smaland has burned his radar. He doesn't have the advantage of smoke, but what I do have is this lovely 3-minute sonar, which means that I can potentially run down this smoke screen and get this gearing picked up on sonar. But while we're sailing across there he is. We're going to have a quick look around, and there's a full health growth occur first there. That's not good. So we're thinking, do we turn and angle out away from the GK just in case he takes a pot shot at us, because we don't know when he last fired his guns. But we can certainly help the small land to take down this gearing. But the gearing takes down the small land. That's not good, but he's off the capture point. I still haven't seen any torpedoes from this gearing, so I'm not going to be a dope in a smoke. I'm going to use the fact that the gearing's dropped his very long smoke screen there, and he's on the other side of it, to get behind this island. I know I'm still located, but I'm going to be able to take this capture point and start giving ourselves an advantage here. The rest of the team, well, you consider me the small land, and there is the battleship behind us, which doesn't seem to be contributing much. So there's 3 on this side of the map, and as happens often, some idiots are going to try and charge through the centre of Two Brothers. I blame the greatest Doug for that one, and all the mighty lemmings that decide to chase up the middle of Two Brothers. But the team have got a good block on at the top end of A cap, even though they haven't managed to get a ship into it, because we have lost our only cruiser, the Worcester, which is a radar cruiser. And that should always be another priority in every game. I know I've said it in many videos before, but take care of the radar cruisers, cover your destroyers, shoot at red team destroyers, and then those cruisers and those destroyers can take care of the battleships. That is, if you're at all bothered about having a win. If you're just out there firing your great big guns trying to get a big damage score, yeah, screw you guys. It isn't all about damage, although in this game we are going to come away with a healthy tally, even though we're sat on 19,000 at the moment. Now, I don't know what this GK was thinking. We get him on a fire, pop my smoke screen, he can still be spotted, and he starts backing up towards their cap. I know there is still a gearing out here. I kind of think he's probably had time to reload his torpedoes, and if I'd have seen the fact that I was being targeted by a destroyer and I was in that GK, I would have actually gone forwards and turned towards the top end of the minimap. I wouldn't have kept reversing at a constant speed back towards my own cap. So that just shows perhaps a little bit of a lack of knowledge by a player in how they are able to see when they are being targeted, not only by guns but by torpedoes. So as not to let that that battleship behind us take a cheap kill away from us, we pull in behind the islands and we get 4 torpedo hits and 3 floods on top of the fires. And as we come round the other side, I think, oh, he's ticking. No, that's a different GK. Our GK has gone. We have the gearing again though, and our sonar is about to become available again. With Twist and Track running, or rather Perceptive running on Grotzman Smart, we are going to push and we are going to try and run down this gearing. We get him bumped, he's below half health, and although the gearing is a relatively good gunboat, I've got a 6% further reload reduction on my daring, and I'm also doing an extra 10% damage from my base damage. And with Grotzman Smart, I think I'm pulling an extra 15% HE damage, so that's a total of 25% extra damage, and we've just added another 5% to that by taking the gearing out of the equation. So even though we have had a very weak flank on this side with only 3 ships, one of who disappeared very early in the game, the blue team have been managed to hold red team across on the other side of the map. There's a bit of a slugfest going on at range across there. We only lost the radar cruiser across that side. We've only lost the destroyer, the small land, on this side, and we have managed to push around all the way successfully on this flank to literally get on to red team's base. So they will now know that me as a destroyer is behind them. They'll have seen that the battleship was also coming up behind me, although at a much slower pace. Let's try and go for a 4th kill here. Drop some shots on that Shimikaze, but he's disappeared, and so we're thinking, do we take this home cap? What is that Shimikaze going to do? We did manage to land a couple of shells on him, but he disappears again before we can get a gun lock. And the 2 battleships that have been sat here trading blows with blue team now know that there is a destroyer behind them, and they have somehow managed to find forward gear. But here comes the Shimikaze back to defend the cap. He's on fire, he's burning, he's just fired his guns. That's going to keep him spotted. Somebody tries a full salvo of AP, but it's going to be my little HE guns that are going to take care of him for kill number 4. 127, pretty much 128,000 damage. And I'm thinking, you know, I could sail back onto the cap here and potentially get another solo cap. But, yeah, this game is most definitely won. And I'm thinking, can I get onto one of these guys for a fifth kill? We've got the Musashi there, we've got the GK there. If we can get some fires on these guys, we might not be able to do a huge amount of damage enough to kill them, but we might get lucky with a fire tick and sneak a kill away from one of the guys on this side of the map. But the Musashi is being absolutely pounded. The GK has already been taken out of the equation, but a wall of skill from a Shimakaze picks up that kill, and so we end on for just under 128,000 damage and a whisker under 3,500 base XP. So I hope you have enjoyed watching that one. So now you've got a demonstration of how to defend a flank and how to push a flank. Obviously, situations are different depending on what ships you have in the team and whether or not you're in division, solo, or whether or not you've got the support from your team. But if you would like to have the support from your team, smash that like button, leave me a comment and say please support me, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Until next time, take care.